Another thing I think we should really talk about is the idea of state-based learning. There's a lot of really interesting research about this, and you've probably experienced it yourself. I, for one, in college would always study with classical music, and I found that because during the test there was no classical music, I suffered. Studies have also shown that if you chew gum both while studying and while taking an exam, or even if you're drunk while studying and drunk while taking an exam, you'll retain the information better. We can hack this and turn it on its head and think that if you're not going to be able to have music at your place of work where you use the information, it's better not to study with music. Or vice versa, if you work in a crowded open office, it's better to study in a coffee shop or cafe where there's noise and distractions. State-based learning is a really, really powerful thing, and so we should be very cognizant of how we're learning and in what environment. On that note, we also want to think about designing our environment, both for actual use of the information and for learning, to be the proper environment. If we can avoid noise in both of those situations, that's great. If we can avoid laying down or sitting down on our bed, that's another great way to retain alertness. Personally, I work at a standing desk, and I'll be happy to link you guys to an article on how to build your own standing desk. This creates alertness and makes sure that I'm in the proper environment and my body is active. Another important thing is having light. If you have the right color of light at the right time of day, it's going to tell your body what should be happening. Bright, white sunlight color is going to tell you to be alert, whereas if you're using yellow lights, it's going to tell your body that it needs to start being tired. This is why a lot of companies use fluorescent white lights in their offices, not because it's more pleasant on the eyes. Also make sure that you have enough oxygen flowing through and fresh air. Oxygen is a stimulant for the brain, much like coffee, and so having a houseplant or opening windows can really affect your learning experience. A note on coffee. Coffee is actually a great way to learn if it's not abused or used in place of sleep. Coffee is a great stimulant, and another great stimulant you can look into is ginseng and ginkgo biloba. These things act a lot like attention deficit medication, opening up receptors and hormones in the brain like serotonin, which are going to allow your brain to absorb information and create a kind of interest and desire to learn.